Hey, what's up, guys? We got our first video of Tuned In Sports. My name is Bryson.
I'm Bennett.
I'm Don.
And like I said, we are Tuned In Sports. And basically, we are just going to be talking a bunch of sports all the time. My main vision for this is to kind of talk a lot about the Eagles. But we're going to be branching out into all kinds of different things. We're going to have a bunch of different people on the channel, hopefully a revolving door of people, so it won't be an uncommon thing to see me not in the video and two other people. So it's just going to be a whole family get-together of just talking about sports. You know, we've talked personally a lot of times about how 75% of our conversations are about sports anyways, so we might as well do it for YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's just
Maybe
what...
we get it on film.
Exactly.
Or actually, that dates me. On video. Way back in the old days.
Yeah. Mr. Bengal fan over here last night taking that loss to the Brownies.
Kicking off week 2.
Kicking off week 2 with some disappointment.
Yeah.
Well, if you want,
what do you expect?
Well, yeah. I was going to say, if
Nothing
you
new here.
want, maybe like, week 1, right? That was kind of like, it was a home game, right?
Yeah,
Where you
speaking of
disappointments, oh, my leg hurts.
Yeah, I'm actually, that he missed it, and he's like,
no.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, but as we see with the jersey up there, that your rookie quarterback from LSU, Mr. Joe Burrow.
To bring something up about last night's game, though, he completed the most passes by any rookie QB in history.
Yeah, and he
37.
probably threw the most too. 62 or 61.
He threw 61 passes. That just shows you the run game and the offensive line.
And
And also you're behind most likely too.
Yeah.
You usually don't throw that much per se, unless you're in a complete run and shoot type offense.
Exactly.
That's with it.
Yeah.
And speaking of the offensive line, from the plays that I did watch, I'm still waiting
There
for
was a
them to
lack
show
of
up.
Yeah. I was gonna say I was expecting Myles Garrett to have another helmet in his hand. At that point, of like somebody like, hey, here you go.
Yeah. And it's not like we lack talent at the running back position. I mean, Joe Mixon is one of the best backs in the league. I mean, Giovanni Bernard's solid. So
Yeah,
Well,
but
again, as
like-
usual, you can have pieces and you can have nice pieces, but it's all in the trenches. Truthfully,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
if you can't force your will on people by the running game or protect your QB, or on the other end rush the passer,
get any form of pressure.
It's gonna be long days normally.
And I definitely did not see any form of pressure happening on the defensive side. I mean,
No.
Baker Mayfield was basically, you think it was a
looked good.
practice session. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, bro.
He looked like a starting quarterback.
He looked like a functional quarterback.
Yeah.
Just watching the game, I mean, Burrow got hit like 17 times throughout the game. I mean, not all of them were sacks, but still, I mean, you can't be allowing that to happen and expect him to
And
stay
part
straight up.
of that is, he's got to get rid of the ball a little bit sooner. But
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
also something to be said for, hey, if you had a decent offensive line, that shouldn't be an issue. I mean, look at the Cowboys. Every single year,
exactly.
he's got all day to throw.
Yeah, but again, and like I said, that's a key piece. Most of the time is a QB.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you don't have the QB, it's going to be a tough sled to do anything, because that quarterback needs to control that position. Because again, it controls time of possession.
Oh yeah.
Controls rest for your defense.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Has to be a highly functional position for your team to be successful.
Yep.
Yeah.
But also on the flip side of that, I mean, you have a good offensive line. The defense isn't going to be able to cover all day long.
No.
And the wide receivers are going to get open. And if you're able to hit open receivers, which I would hope if you're in the NFL you can, then,
Well, as long as they
you're
catch
set.
it.
Well, yeah. Then,
What it looks like to me, I know, again, aging it here, but it looks definitely like the old, late 80s Broncos. Same thing. It was just like, John, go out there, win the game for us. Do what you got to do everything you do, just get to the game. The defense is going to stop anybody, but you got to go out there and win the game. but the defense sometimes does need to make a certain stop at a certain
exactly.
time. So just as long as their timing of one stop is a key stop,
That's
all you need
like
the defense to do.
And,
Like-
I mean, you
like-
know. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, like, for instance, Joe Burrow drives them down the field. They score. All they need is a stop. There's about 4 minutes left in the game. All they needed was a stop. They get the ball
Make a
back
punt.
and can go back.
Yep.
Every single run that Kareem Hunt, I believe it was, had was a first down.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Essentially, Chubb and Hunt, just every ball. I mean, you knew what they were doing, and they still couldn't stop
and
it.
that's the problem.
You know, the sad thing is that like we had a set of downs where we held them 4 straight. They were in the red zone. We held them 4 straight downs. Got the ball back. Burrow fumbles it. They get it on the 2-yard line and puts them up by double digits.
That though, I mean, even the first game, he definitely, if it wasn't for, bony leg there, they should have.
Well, he also had a chance because AJ Green
Got called
got
for
off
the
pass
offense
interference. So
Yep.
you got to be able to make plays with that too.
Yep.
And make catches and make smart decisions.
Exactly.
But again, that's the reason you pay a kicker, right? Is to make kicks.
Exactly. But Burrow alone, though, the first week, he put his team in a position to have a chance. That's all you can ask.
Yep.
Defense didn't do their job, and special teams definitely
Common
didn't do their
occurrence.
job. Week 2, again, he kept driving them down the field in the crucial moments, and the defense just couldn't pull their own weight. So I think as a person that just likes the Bengals objectively, I think if you're a Bengals fan, you got to be happy. There's a few things they obviously need to work on, but you knew that coming in.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
shouldn't be a
defense.
surprise. So
It's just a natural progression.
Yep.
The nice thing about it is that you got something that's solid and it works, and he's able to function in the
Exactly.
offense and does a great job. Now the next step is just get that consistency, and the next step will be just learning how to win and taking that next steps to get the
Exactly.
momentum forward, and then they'll be back into the
mean, I
old
definitely-
Collinsworth and Kenny Anderson days.
Exactly.
And Boomer Esiason.
I definitely think the future is bright, but I mean, just like you guys said, got to take it day at a time.
Yep.
And
you got some players that were coming up huge.
Tyler Boyd, 7 catches.
Tyler Boyd definitely played great.
I was
Down
impressed
the
with him.
Ramble, or what was that guy's name? Yamble.
The tight end?
Yeah, the tight end.
Yeah, 80,
What?
89.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh,
his-
Sample.
Sample.
Hey, there you go. There it is. Samsonite. Right there.
Yeah, never
He,
see.
he played decent.
Again, I'm not a Bengals fan,
Yeah.
so I don't know. But
I bleed orange, just the Mile High one.
Not the Mile High one, yeah. So I don't know, but I had never heard of him before. But from what I watched, how have I not heard of him? Because he was catching everything.
Yeah.
There was not a ball his way that was not boom, caught,
Yeah.
boom, caught.
Yeah.
And he mentioned during the game too that you just see so many Boyd, some of these other guys, when it goes their way, it's like suction cups.
Yep.
They're not dropping nothing.
Yeah.
T. Higgins had 3 catches last night. I mean, he didn't play that bad.
So yeah,
Well, the prime example, usually the opposite of that is Ross, right? That's-
John Ross. Yeah, just
Well,
like
speaking of Ross, what do you guys think? Is he going to be gone after the season, or
Are you asking, is he going to, or
yeah?
should
Do you
he
guys
be?
think? Do you think he's going to be?
Going to be or should be?
Going
should
to
be,
be.
yes. Going to be, who knows?
Yeah, as we sit right now, I would have to classify him as a bust.
Yeah.
I know we have,
He had a couple spurts last season, but
we got 15 more weeks of this, but unless he really picks it up and becomes something off the chart, I can see him ending up on the Raiders.
Yeah, especially with, especially with, some of the people that we talked about on the positive side. I just see him getting less and less snaps.
Yeah, well, again, because all quarterbacks, and if you played anything that's with it, you start developing a flow and a pattern. And as soon as you step back to pass, you already have the play call in your mind. If everything goes right, you start making your progressions through the field, and you're going to be like, you're going to go, "But Ross, because you're not going to trust it to throw it to him.
Yep.
And if he's going to drop it, you automatically know what that is, and you're not going to have confidence in him. So you're just going to automatically drop right off of him.
Especially when you got a guy like AJ Green, who even when he's not open, he's open.
Yeah. You're going to have a chance. And then, like I said, Boyd seems phenomenal
Yeah.
I know game 2. I watched. I didn't get to see the first week game against the LA Chargers.
Yeah.
Damn it. They had to win that game, but
Of course.
yeah. So,
But game 2 though.
But game 2, I would like to say the one person who stood out to me besides Sample was definitely Boyd.
Yeah,
I thought Boyd was just like, holy crap! That
He was
guy
all over
catches
the field.
Anything,
Yep.
And it was anywhere. It was short routes, deep routes, in betweens. It was.
Guys,
it was everywhere.
serious.
Yeah.
What else can you say? I mean, yeah, I completely
Speaking
agree.
of Green, what do you guys think? Is he gonna be? What do you guys think is his future? Stay healthy. He probably signs another contract. I think maybe. I mean,
I think it's going to be up to him. I mean, if I was him, I think before Burrow came in, probably, I'm going to take my options. But with Burrow there, I think there's a whole new energy to the team. And he's the type of guy you want to play for.
Yeah.
You hear it from the people on the Bengals even right now. They all talk about him and just nothing but positivity. He's the type of quarterback you want to play for. You want to give your best effort. John Ross, apparently he feels differently, but everybody else on the team, you want to do well for him because he just has that mentality of. After the first game, they did a press conference and they said, "Hey, how would you rate your performance?" And he said something about, "I'd probably give myself a D." And I'm thinking to myself, like, what? Like, did we watch the same game?
Really hard on himself.
Yeah, exactly. He's not going to settle for less than, and
winning.
That's good too because you have some guys that are out there, like especially in basketball, talking about, "Oh yeah, I had 45 points." Well, you lost by 20.
Exactly.
So how what are you doing?
He's like a DB. He's going to say, "Hey, I broke up that one pass. Look at me." And then he's burnt like 3 other times for touchdowns. But he got that one. And he's like, "Woo, I'm the biggest thing ever. Yeah, check me out, right?" Yeah, so it's the same thing that's with it. But I think going back to the A.J. Green thing, it's all going to be on A.J. Green.
Yep.
Because he'll have a decision because, again, he's been in Cincinnati since day one for him. And then either he's going to do the money thing or he's going to do I want a ring thing.
Yes.
And if he doesn't want the ring thing, then,
he's
hey,
not gonna be there.
I mean, you look at the basic, right? The Chiefs, the Patriots, these
The
teams,
usual suspects.
the Ravens, the teams
Steelers.
that have, Steelers, the teams that have functionality that that usually happens every year, and give you a chance to get a ring. The money's not going to matter that much if he wants that ring.
Yep.
Choice to do it. So he'll I'll take less money to be on a team that actually I can get into the playoffs and win playoff games and hopefully. The ultimate.
Absolutely.
No. I mean, the ultimate prize. I mean,
absolutely.
Because I mean, he's been in playoff games, but he was under
Marvin Lewis,
who was 0-11. So again, it's tough to be there. It's like he's paid his dues with it, and he needs to get that hardware if he chooses that route. If he's just 100% money, then he'll be the highest bidder to whoever has the most cap.
Yep, and I definitely respect him a lot for sticking it out because there's not too many people that would have stuck around for that, and he's still here. And again, the one thing that I will say is realistically, you look at it and you think, okay, well, probably going somewhere else because again, you want a ring. Mm-hmm. Is that happening to the Bengals before? I would say probably not. But now with Burrow, again, like I said, it's a whole new energy. I'm not saying they're winning a Super Bowl in the coming, next 2 years or 3 years. But I will say it's a different feel. Yeah. It's not just, let's see who we draft this year. Yeah. It's like, no, we've got a direction.
You're getting pieces, and then all you got to do is now, besides keeping good draft choices like they have been doing, fill it in with free agency. And that's how you build the team. And you sit there, and then players will start going, "Hey, look at that team over there. I might want to join that."
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and you keep Burrow healthy, and you're going places. Yeah. And I think again, like I said, years past, he's gone. Now with Burrow and just the direction I feel the organization is taking with actually looking like they have some semblance of a direction that they're going instead of just, hey, we're going to, do this and make it seem like we're rebuilding. But then, here we are signing this guy to some outrageous contract. What are we doing here? Mm-hmm. Now it looks like they have a direction. They know what they want to do. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that comes back to what he talked about earlier. They have the main thing. is the quarterback. A quarterback can take you a lot of places and make up for some of the deficiencies in other areas.
It doesn't really help much that, we're missing Atkins. I mean, he was out last couple games, and also Trey Waynes, he went out with a pectoral injury in training camp, so I mean, there's a lot of factors to it, but
injuries
still,
are part
looking
of
at
the
it
game.
right
I was
now,
going to say, look at the Eagles last year.
That brings us right to the Eagles,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I guess we'll transition that way. You want to talk injuries?
Yeah, that was smooth.
Yeah, you want to talk injuries. I guess we have to talk at Philadelphia because last year they had the men from the cheerleading squad out there for the receiving corps, and
the guy delivering beer, the UPS guy,
and
the FedEx guy.
Yep, and the water boys made up the secondary. So,
exactly.
And the defensive linemen were all the guys from the hot dog eating contest because we had to fill in positions. The Eagles,
Week 1, huh? This is to the Washington football team.
football team.
Hail to the football team. Oh wait, that doesn't sound right, does it? No,
So,
but
I'm
again,
gonna-
watching Red Zone, I'm sitting here going, "Hey, Eagles, man, 17-0 against the Red football team," and I was like, "Hey, this is gonna look like a pretty easy day." And then all of a sudden, I'm like, like you said, here comes the Red Zone highlight. What?
Yeah.
It was the football team.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Washington football team, what did you guys? I mean, how has Chase Young been performing? I really haven't been.
Chase Young.
Well, I was going to say with it, one thing's worth, and I know that you've with the Carolina Panthers. Again, old Chicago Bear, tough nose. The coach, going through cancer.
Yeah, Rivera.
As well, Riverboat Ron.
Yeah.
He's going to get that defense to play.
Yes.
I don't care if it's whatever it is. He'll get it to going because he has that history of from the '85 Bears to
Yep. And don't think he hit
wrestling. Whatever.
Yep.
But,
So
that was kind of just disgusting at the end because it was like, okay, they got to score something because I watched the end on Red Zone and some of the live game, and it was just like it looked like the offense for the football team was just like out to lunch. It was just like, what are you guys doing? I thought it was just going to be a simple cakewalk. I thought it was going to end up like 31-3 or 38-10 or something like that.
Yep.
But all of a sudden, it just, like you said, flipped a switch, and then all of a sudden, like you said before, that put the Eagles into a position where they became one-dimensional, where they're like, oh, Carson's going to go throw the ball. Yeah. We know exactly where he's at, and just unleashed, the defense on him, I think.
Yep. I'm going to try to be nice about it, but I will definitely say disappointing is the biggest word that I can use. Like he said, I wasn't able to actually watch the game live because I actually had some other things going on, some other engagements that kept me busy, so I wasn't able to watch the game. But I was getting updates on my phone, and I get this update saying 17-0 in the second quarter, and I'm like, all right, we took care of business. Now let's hope we can carry that on to the Rams this week. Well, apparently they thought the same thing and decided not to, ship it in for the second half because they were up 17-0, 17-7, 17-14, 17-17, lost 27-17, pathetic. 8 sacks on Carson Wentz. I realize that's not all his fault. Defensive line, what are you doing? Offensive line, what are you doing? Defensive line, what are you doing? Giving up 27 points to the Washington football team. But on the flip side, it's like, it's in some cases, Wentz, get rid of the ball. Especially, again, I've said this before, in passing, but I'll say it here, is if you're a coach of the Eagles and they had 2 guards or 2 offensive linemen injured going into this game. And so you're looking at that and you're thinking to yourself, okay, we got 2 guys coming in with limited no preseason and limited practice coming in here to fill this. They may be rookies who don't really know the offense very well. You don't have a lot of time to throw. If I'm a coach, I am telling Wentz and game planning around the fact that if we don't get rid of the ball in a couple of seconds, you're going on your back. And you are game planning for that, saying, hey, not only that, but we got Chase Young on the other side. Get rid of the damn ball. And you game plan around that. Did they not think of this? Like,
you would think that, the coach for the Eagles with his experience, through Kansas City and what he's had at Philadelphia would figure, this out.
Yeah, I mean, again, you have two rookies in there, or not rookies, but two people that are not starters for a reason. Let's just say that, And you say, okay, yes, that's a difficult position to be put in, and that might affect the running game. But, again, you got to say to yourself, you knew this coming in. This shouldn't be a surprise. Get rid of the ball. And just throughout the game, they just weren't doing that. Carson was holding on to the ball too long. He was making not very good plays at times and just getting sacked throughout. And it's just disappointing, especially when you look at Washington being the team that we're against. Now, every year is different. They may be good this year. They definitely looked the part against us in the second half. So maybe they'll be good. But looking at their years previous to this, they were not that great. So going into it, you're expecting
fans drinking again.
Yep. You might, if that's beer, pass one over because exactly. I need it talking about this game. But
I've needed it the last 5 seasons or so.
A box of tissues, exactly. But I just, it's just disappointing because you think about Washington and you think, boy, you just go in like, okay, well, they're doormats of the division, so this should be an easy win, kind of a warm-up, and see what we look like against the Rams.
You don't even have a name.
Yeah, exactly. I said that multiple times. We lost to a team without a name. As if it couldn't get any worse.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, my God. And then to compile it, Jacksonville, who traded away everybody, managed to get a win against Indianapolis on the road, I think.
And Indianapolis
it was actually in Jacksonville.
It was in Jacksonville.
But still, for all the people that they lost,
how does that team win and you take 8 sacks against Washington? I mean, come on. Like, again, he said, Ron Rivera, I am a huge Cam Newton fan, so I used to root for the Panthers. They're not my favorite team, but I rooted for them to win. And so I know all about his defensive abilities as a coach and just the defenses he'd put on the field. He's great. Yeah. So I'm expecting them to improve, but still, it's Washington. We need to win that game. And especially a big thing is, again, I said we're playing the Rams next week. Then we're actually playing the Bengals, which we'll see how that goes. But we'll definitely be on here talking about it. So, but with that being said, then after that, I don't know the order that we're playing these games, but we are then playing the Steelers, the Ravens, and I believe, well, obviously the Rams, and then I also believe Steelers, Ravens, and then there's one other team. I think it's the Chiefs. And it's like, okay, you look at those games.
Sounds like our schedule.
How many of those are you going to win? I mean, that's brutal.
You look at those games, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, the Rams will be very tough. They didn't look unbeatable against the Cowboys, but they definitely...
Donald.
Yeah, exactly. If we struggled with the Redskins, oh, man, here we go. So Rams, that's going to be tough. We could easily lose that, but let's say we win it. Then let's say we beat the Bengals, but then we lose to those other teams that I mentioned that before we get to the Giants. We're 2-4, guys. 2-4 if we manage to beat the Rams, which I'm not saying that's a guarantee. But what I will say is Ravens, what are they known for? Defensive line. Yep. What are the Steelers known for? Defensive line. And I don't remember if it was the Chiefs. I think it was the Chiefs or maybe somebody else. But it's another team that is known for defensive line. If we can't beat Washington, we're going to get pummeled by these guys. I mean, it's going to be not even a game by halftime. And not Eagles versus Washington, not a game by halftime. We're talking like literally tune in. They're going to be switching it to another game live. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. And it just, as a fan, going into the season, that's your schedule. That's just a game you need to win. It's a division game against a team that, again, who knows what they're going to look like this season. but that's a team that you need to beat if you're a good team.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to beat them. And to open up the season with a loss in the fashion that we did, scoring 17 points and then not scoring again. I mean,
speaking of Steelers, like you mentioned before, Don's team, the Broncos, going to be facing the Steelers this coming week. What do you think?
Yeah, week 1 was against, just like you mentioned, playoff team. So we had Tennessee Titans at home. It was the second of the Monday night games. So I know everybody was watching Pittsburgh and New York probably, especially on the East Coast, before it got to the Denver game. So, and of course it was another offensive juggernaut by the Broncos. I think it was 7-7 at halftime. So I think most everybody just went and just went, yeah, we've seen this before, which we did too. But again, just going through the steps in the process. Again, pretty much a rookie quarterback with Locke. I think he's kind of just a little bit ahead of the Burrow situation, but I think he has some of the same type of tools. Yeah. Where he's got a good arm, pretty good head on his shoulders, has pretty good command of the offense per se. We got a bunch of pieces which unfortunately weren't there in the draft. With Hamler from Penn State and Judy from Alabama. So and of course, I've said before that, with the number 1 receiver, Cortland Sutton out with an AC joint injury, and then we have Von Miller out on the defensive end, which is our number 1 person on each side of the ball. It was going to be a tough sled. But they were actually able to compete. The defense pretty much played lights out, I would say, and even our pickup from the Jaguars, Aboye, got hurt, and he's out for the next couple weeks. But again, even the guys that stepped up behind him played pretty damn good, and they were able to contain Henry. He was under 100 yards with it, and so they were actually able to play.
You can't ask for more.
Very good football with that. It was just the offensive side, just the fumble with other pickup, Gordon from the Chargers. Again, fumbled the ball, turning it right over in the red zone. Tough to put the defense into that spot. And then Lindsey also, played well, and then Freeman, and then Lindsey's got turf toe.
Yeah, Lindsey went out.
No, he's out for the next few weeks. So again, it's just like everybody else in the NFL going through this whole COVID thing, and with limited practice, there's going to be injuries and people have to step up. But unfortunately, Judy had 2 critical drops. Which he didn't normally have at Alabama.
Not generally.
He waits till he gets to us and goes, we're going to give you those DT feelings for Darius Thomas.
And as an Alabama fan, I watch pretty much all their games, and I can correlate what you just said. You didn't have too many drops like that.
Too many drops with that. So, again, last year, who impressed me I'd probably say the most of it was Noah Fant.
Oh, man, that guy was...
second-year guy out of Iowa. Again, he brought on the initial DT flashbacks with dropping passes all last year. But he was like, anytime Locke threw to him, he was catching it. So I was just like, oh, this is a pleasant surprise.
We talked about Sample earlier.
And
same thing.
Sample's also a second-year player.
So tight ends are looking good.
And then also the stick by Jesse Jewell. Also, he went one-on-one with Henry. Right at the line of scrimmage. Took him down.
That was disgusting.
I was like, woo, here we go. I was like, I like this.
More of that, nice. Please.
This is what we need. We need tackling, hit people, and that's it. No bouncing off, no breaking tackles, running down the field the other way with it. So that was huge. But, like I said, he had, Judy had, wide open catch in the middle of the field, dropped it, crucial. And then also in the fourth quarter, we're going down. We're on Tennessee's side of the field. Another big drop for these are just drive sustainers, things that could maybe potentially end up in the end zone.
And going to at the very least, time of possession. Right?
Again, gives more defense time, the rest, and everything that goes with it.
Because what did the Titans do last year and try to do every single game? Time of possession, run the ball.
Well, again, they've got defense and they've got Henry, so they're going to run it and play defense. That's on it. Hence that we were sitting at a a lower scoring game. Thank you for the kicker for the Titans who were, kicking it all in the stands where nobody was at. But again, of course, we wait to the end of the game and he's going to drill one right down between the pipes.
Typical.
So let's get our hopes up and then.
Yep.
So, but yeah, week 2, Big Ben, a guy that we're familiar with through many years of
I'm
just
definitely
regular season
familiar with
games and playoffs.
Yep.
With him, which is good. I think the year before last, I actually was at the Broncos Steeler game where they swatted down his pass at the end of the game for the W. So it was nice seeing Antonio Brown and Big Ben take the L.
Good night.
Bye.
Yeah, and I'm sure he didn't mind it too much either.
Helped him out with everything that's on there. But again, different story when you go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're on the road. I think last time we played him there, I think Osweiler was our quarterback, if I remember right. And we had actually a lead and actually played really, really well against them, but then just folded and then lost at the end because they let Big Ben and Antonio
do
Brown
his thing.
and Juju Smith run around the field.
Yep.
And do what they do. But the key with it, again, same thing like you guys said, protect the quarterback.
Yep.
Going to have to be able to keep Watt and Dupree playing around in the backfield. So I would expect hopefully Freeman and Gordon have bigger roles this week.
Yep.
I would totally expect Fant
Yep.
to also be able to use the tight end position to break the holes on any blitzes and all the weird concoctions that the Steelers do on defense, and hopefully get to their secondary, which is normally their weakest link through the team defense.
Definitely.
And then, of course, our defense will just need to be able to put pressure on Ben and get him down on the ground.
Yeah.
Be able to make him make ill-advised throws.
Yep.
And then be able to convert those interceptions like we did last week where we had an interception and then we got called for illegal touching of a guy somewhere. It was like, I never even heard that thing called. But
the bigger matchup that I'm going to be keeping an eye out, like he said, is the offensive line and just the offense against the Steelers' defense because, based on just history and what I saw in Game 1, Broncos' defense will be just fine. Big Ben and Juju, that's a different animal for sure. There's a reason they're one of the top teams. But at the same time, they kept Derrick Henry in check last week. And Broncos have never had a defensive, the problem the last handful of years has not been the defense. They're stout. Yeah. They are going to keep you in games. And then the offense has really been the issue because they can't capitalize on the defense. I mean, again, last week, how many points did the Titans end up with? 13, 10,
I think
12?
It was 16 or, you know what I mean? It was
it was something
teens,
like
right?
that. And if your defense keeps them to that low of a score, then that's job well done as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that's plenty to say, hey, if you can't win when your defense keeps them to that score, then what do you expect?
Well, the proof of the pudding was, again, with the last several years before Locke that we had to roll out the Simeons and the Allens and, the no-name guys of like who. And the problem is to be 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Well, guess what? The defense is going to get tired. Yeah. And eventually the defense is going to run out of steam. And then they're just going to get steamrolled.
Yeah, lose a game 10-16.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
So the object, again, time of possession. It's got to be key to rest the defense, get first downs, and even better, get points on the board.
Yep.
That's the hugest thing for Denver right now. If they can get to if they can get 24 points on you, it's going to be a tough day for you, I think, to pull out the W.
Absolutely.
With it. But again, it's just everything's got to fall in pieces.
Yep. But like I said, I think they're definitely capable, and the biggest thing is going to be, can they protect Locke? Because again, I think, hey, you might be giving up some points to Big Ben, but everybody does.
Yep.
But you keep him to, in check. Maybe not, I'm just saying, don't give up 35 points.
Exactly.
And, just keep it how they usually do, to the mid-teens to early 20s. Yep. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to win those games.
No.
I mean, and it should help that, the Steelers starting running back James Conner got injured last week. Not saying injuries are ever good, but that will definitely, be a benefit.
Yeah. Thank you. They don't have Le'Veon Bell anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To put those pieces into it. But again, that's the key is that, hey, if Pittsburgh becomes one-dimensional, even better.
Yeah.
Because Ben's going to have to be back there so many times. But again, you're going to have to be able to sustain a pass rush to get in his face.
Yep.
And be able to make those throwing errors, that he needs to do for you to be successful against him.
But again, I mean, I don't mean to pick on my brother's team here, but the difference between the Steelers and a team like the Bengals is the Steelers have an injury that's a big deal. You don't notice. They just keep chugging.
Well, no, it was like even last year, right? I mean, they had a guy,
who
Duck Rogers, Ducky, or whatever the hell his name was.
Mason Rudolph.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. You know what I mean? It was just
who?
It was like you have a duck and a reindeer in the
and
back
then they
there,
had
and they're
Stanley
still getting W's.
and Stanley or whatever his name was from Iowa, and you're just like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
And they're still winning.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you got teams like the Bengals and stuff finding ways to lose games with not, obviously nobody's probably at full strength, but relatively
more
you don't
talent.
you look at teams and you say, well, relatively they got most of their key players and they're losing, but here the Steelers are, pulling off wins with God knows who.
Yeah, well, I was going to say the classic last Thursday was like the last time we saw the Browns on Thursday night. Myles Garrett was running around with a helmet and swinging it around and hitting Rudolph in the head.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So it's just like, when you have the talent like the Browns and you're going against a team like the Steelers who's definitely undermanned, and they're still pulling out W's. It's just,
and that's the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, you got James Conner going out. Well, whoever steps up, I'm sure will be doing the same thing. Yeah. It's almost like he might as well be James Conner.
But again, great team. Kudos to Mike Tomlin. I mean, that's with it. There's nothing you can say.
And kudos to the organization.
Yeah, that they do it. Except when he comes out and trips the player on the punt return. But, normally, I'd give props to Mike Tomlin on that. No. But consistently, normally he has the team in a functional way that you're going to have your hands full.
Yep. You look at the beginning of the season and you say, okay, who's got a chance to win? You got to mention them.
Yeah.
Every single season, you got to mention them as, hey, whoever is going to win has got to be able to handle them because they're always there. It doesn't matter who's out, who's in, who's quarterback, they're winning.
Yeah, and that's central. I mean, it's the Ravens and
Steelers.
And Steelers every time. I mean, even when they had Flacco, which I don't even mention that guy.
Yeah.
On my team. But that was like, why are we signing that guy? Jeez.
It just goes to show that it doesn't matter who's in there if you got consistency and ownership and you got a solid defense. Yep. Again, that's why the Broncos, even though they haven't had a great quarterback, have been at least respectable the last handful of years and competing in games is because they got the big thing, which is defense, and their defense wins games. Keeps you in games, and once you get quarterbacks and some of that stuff, you're on a fast track to win.
Yep, definitely. I mean, and going forward, I mean, like Bengals and Broncos, I mean, especially with the young players that they've gotten in these last couple drafts, I definitely think got
going in the right direction.
Yeah. No, actually, like you said, I'm pleased with what I've seen early. I know it's still a long season, but I think once they all get on the field at one time, I think once we get Sutton and Judy and Hamlin all out with Fant and Lindsey and Gordon, I think they might actually become more of a handful that I think people will respect, and and that's what we need to do to challenge Mahomes.
I was going to say two brutal divisions.
To Mahomes is what we need to do. We need to be able to put points on the board to keep Mahomes in check. If we have any chance to win the division.
I actually heard that Sutton might be returning this week.
It could be, yeah. Like I said, it all depends on. I'm guessing he'll be.
And they could definitely use him.
Oh yeah. So Sutton's a beast. I mean, I haven't been this excited since DT of somebody that actually shows up and show out the first year I think this is his third year now, which has been unbelievable. And without him, it would be a much sadder state of affairs that we've had with our seasons.
Yes.
But I think with Locke and Sutton and these new pieces, I think they have potential to finally actually take that step into becoming an offense that's at least functional instead of dysfunctional.
Completely agree. So with that being said, any final thoughts on anything?
Just looking forward to next week. I mean, maybe getting a win
Week
against
3.
the Eagles. We'll see.
Yeah,
mean,
against the
Week 3,
Eagles.
Is it in Cincy or is it in Philly?
I actually really don't know. I think it's.
Well,
I think it's in Philly. Though.
if the Eagles play like they did Week 1, it won't matter. So, any final
Well,
thoughts?
like I said, for me, it just hardens me back to the golden age. But yeah, we gotta get stuff done this week against the Steelers, and then week 3, our boy comes back to the town, and Mr. Brady. So we get to see Tampa Bay the next week after this. So, but hey, only team that Brady has a losing record against.
Broncos. Yep.
He has a winning record against everybody except us. So we need to make sure we need to keep that record intact as we go on for week 3. But I know, as usually, of all the problems with Brady, he'll fix it by week 3.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
That's just normal how it is. But we'll see. We got to get done with week 2, and hopefully we can get a W and start momentum for that game in week 3.
Yep. And against Brady, we have the important record that I care about, which is 1-1 in the Super Bowl.
Yes, exactly.
He's beat us once, but we got that victory back a couple years ago. So, yay. Final thoughts for Final thoughts for me. One thing I did want to mention is I did a little bit of checking at one point to see who the other team was that we play. And it's not the Chiefs. It's actually the 49ers.
Oh.
Which, again, what are they known for? Defensive line. Mm-hmm. They got beasts all over the field. And if we can't protect...
Hopefully Kittle's still out by that time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they got weapons on offense.
Yeah.
Hopefully Jimmy G does what Jimmy G does and, has another 4-pick performance. But if not...
But it's Shanahan and John Lynch and those guys obviously got the ship really turned in that city.
Exactly. And so, again, that's just another reason why I say you look at this realistically and you think, okay, Rams maybe, Bengals probably, but other than that, most likely that's losses. So to lose to Washington is just a big deal because 2-4 is just, you're not going to probably come back from that. 3-3, maybe.
Yeah.
Especially with our division. I mean, the Cowboys, the Giants both lost. Thank God. Week 1. So
Don't even talk.
No, but yeah, like I said, the key point he's got to win week 2. That's the key point. He's got to get that first one in the column.
Yes,
on the left hand.
Because again, brutal schedule, and I'm not even guaranteeing that the Bengals is going to be a win. But I'm just saying, if you look at us and say, hey, we were potentially a Super Bowl contender coming in, the Bengals is a game we have to win. I mean, you just got to mark that down and say that we play tough teams throughout the season. That's a game you have to win. Just looking at their history, our expectations going in and their expectations going in, that has to be a W.
Yeah, because, to be number 2 with the Browns, that was...
Oh, no. Well,
hey, that was out of bounds, OB,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but hey, you know what? Again, like he said, just excited to be back into football again. Yep. Excited. It's nice to be excited about our teams. Yep. That's not always the case.
New season,
especially with the Bengals.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot to be excited about the last few years. Nope. And from what I watched of Locke, I think there's something to be excited about on the offensive side of the ball for the Broncos. And, well, I'm not too excited, but I'm glad you guys are.
I definitely got a lot of optimism going forward about, all 3 of our teams' futures, to be honest. I think, things are trending upward.
And again, injuries are just always going to be there. But what sets apart the great teams, like we mentioned earlier, the Steelers, the Patriots, the Ravens, some of these teams, they're always there, no matter who's out, who's in. So the consistency from ownership and
Seahawks.
Exactly.
They get decimated with injuries, and they just keep rolling and rolling and rolling.
I still don't understand why the Eagles decided to pick up Mr. Hurts. in the second round of the draft last year.
That's another video.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a whole segment on that one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that was a different thing. Just quickly, I'll just say that I thought we were bringing him in to play a role in offense that wasn't always going to be just a quarterback. I thought we were going to do some special things with him, and he never saw the field on Sunday. So I don't really know what they're doing with him. I mean, I figure week 1 when everybody is just kind of going in with what the hell's going on, because again, there almost wasn't a season. So everybody's going in with a what the hell. Well, let's use that opportunity where there's already some confusion to get him involved.
Yeah, throw those wrinkles into this offense,
and again,
just like Tyson Hill.
Yeah, when you score 17 points and then can't score again, what's it going to hurt to try something new? So, but again, that's a whole nother video.
But you're not in the locker room and you don't know, going through the whole week, so
and
you don't know.
There's also the aspect of, does he know the playbook?
Yep, that's the key, right? Does he know what to do when he's out there?
Yep, exactly. Yep. So, but with that being said, guys, we thank you for tuning in to Tuned In Sports and just checking out our video. If you guys like the content, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on all the notifications if you want to get an update every time we upload. With that being said, guys, this is Bryson, Bennett, and Don, and we will see you guys in the next video.
Peace.
Be safe.
All right, mother.